Welcome back, party people. You are listening to Crossplay, our video game podcast here at the Whatnauts. It is Saturday, September 12th, 2020, and coming up on today's show, we are going to be talking about the release dates and the prices for the new Xbox consoles. We got another Ubisoft Forward this week with all kinds of announcements coming out of that. And we got another update on the Epic versus Apple fight. So we will get to all of that and more in just a bit. But for now, my name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined by Ignacio Rojas.
Oi, Governor.
And we have another special guest this week for the first time. Alan Busbee is joining us.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you, thank you.
Indeed. So, Alan, we've been getting to know you for the past couple weeks here, but for those of you guys out there who might not know him, who are you? What do you do with your life? What kind of games do you play? Also, you know.
Well, like every other person, I just do simple things. I just work every day. But when it comes to video games, I'm actually a giant fan of RPGs. JRPGs tend to be my favorite. And
Okay.
I'm kind of the opposite of Gino or some other people, where I actually really love playing my older games into the ground. So I love remakes, reboots, and bringing old games back. I like new
Good
games,
stuff.
but if you bring old stuff back, I'm definitely gonna, jump right on that.
Good stuff.
Good.
So I have to ask you, I saw here on Skype that it says you're from Wyoming. Is that right?
Okay, so that's always a confusion. I'm from Wyoming, Michigan, because there's a city in Michigan called Wyoming.
Okay.
People always seem to be like, "You're from the state, and you're all the way here in Michigan." No, it's the city. Wyoming's not like a giant city in Michigan. It's just on the outsides of like Grand Rapids on the west side of
Gotcha.
Michigan. So yeah.
Not as exciting, because I was about
Yeah.
to say
Yeah.
that I have family out in Wyoming, the state. So I'm like, yeah, I know where you're
It's
from.
kind of like,
Kind of.
Well, if
but no.
if I ever moved, what I should do is I should move to Wyoming and then live there for like a couple of years and then move back to Michigan. Then I can be like, yes, I am from Wyoming. I used to live
yeah.
there.
reminds me of what is it, Kansas City, Missouri? I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
Kansas City, Kansas.
Oh yeah, yep. That's
Why
how
do
you'll trip
Why
people
do we
up.
do that?
Yeah. Well, don't you have like several Springfields?
Pretty much. Yeah. There's
Like a ton of Springfields?
Yeah, there's Springfield, Virginia, Springfield, Missouri, Springfield. Yeah, there's tons of them.
Yeah.
We just can't come up with names and stuff like that.
We don't really have
but-
that over here in Michigan, so we have like very unique names that aren't shared everywhere, but so are shared, but just not across everywhere.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's a little better.
So you are also streaming on Twitch and stuff. I know you've been playing like the Samurai Jack game on there. What is your Twitch channel?
So I stream now. I stream every like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. So like I stream every other day on twitch.tv/AzurePKK. Azure like the color, like the blue fire.
Sure.
And that's where I stream. I don't stream super long. I stream for maybe like an hour, hour and a half. And yeah, recently I've been playing Samurai Jack, and I constantly go back and forth if I like that game or I don't like that game a ton.
Really?
Gotcha.
It
Well,
has great moments and then not so great moments.
Let's dive into that. Let's start talking about what we've been playing. So you have been playing Samurai Jack.
Yes.
I have such a fond nostalgia of Samurai Jack.
Yeah, me too.
But this game, it interested me, but not enough for me to buy it. So yeah, what is this game?
Okay, so honest time, I haven't actually finished the Samurai Jack cartoon. I never watched when they brought it back like to finish it. So I haven't watched like the newest stuff. I watched only the original. and I
That's the
watched the
same with me.
Yeah,
And I
same
watched-
with me too.
Yeah, and I watched the original like a long time ago, so even my memory of the original cartoon is kind of fading. So playing through Samurai Jack, it's pretty good. I don't really know where it takes place in the story overall. I think it takes place at the very end of the story of the show, but it introduces time travel and shenanigans like that where Jack kind of goes back in time to areas in the past. So like
Okay.
throughout the game, you'll kind of talk to the Scotsman, so he's kind of with you throughout the whole game. He doesn't play like a major role, but he just kind of talks to you. So if you're a big fan of the show and you watch it and you know everything and all the references and everything, then I assume it's probably an amazing adventure. But when you're me and don't really remember or don't know, it's cool. It's fun to see what they're doing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, what I've heard is that it does take place after even when they brought it back. Like it takes place after the end, and so yeah, the whole time travel thing apparently is something that it goes back through the show. It's basically an excuse
Yes.
to play through the show while also being kind of a sequel for it.
Yes.
But looking at it, I haven't been really interested in it, mostly because it reminds me a lot of the old PS2 licensed cartoon games. It really gives me that vibe. So does it play like that? Is it more like, does it feel less cheap or what?
So I wouldn't say the gameplay is top notch. I would say it's not as good as kind of like your modern action games like Devil May Cry 5 or things like that, like more of the modern games. But I would also say it's still better than your old kind of licensed PS2 games. My big problem with the game is that it focuses heavily on kind of blocking and evading. And if you perfectly block an opponent, obviously you parry and can counterattack, but sometimes enemies they just block you, or even bosses will just have moments where they'll just not do anything, but they'll guard or deflect your attack, and you just kind of have to wait for either them to become vulnerable or just hit them enough times so their shield breaks. And I don't know if I'm just not good enough at it yet, or I'm not invested enough where I'll get attacked and I'll either try to hit circle to dodge and nothing happens, or I try to hit L1 to block and sometimes I block when I'm being attacked, and sometimes Jack just keeps taking, a beating, and then I'm just, almost dead. So it's maybe I just haven't played it enough to really grasp all the systems that are in it, and I don't have a lot of upgrades that would probably, I assume, make combat easier. But if I get skills that make combat easier, then man, you need those, because without them, the combat definitely feels a fair amount. There's a fair amount of clunk in it, and it just doesn't feel as satisfying when you win. It almost feels like when you win,
I gotcha.
you just kind of BS your way through it. Where if you died, you feel like you died because the game BS'd you into dying, and you're like, okay, well, this is fun, I guess.
Yeah, I
Do you know how long the game is supposed to be?
I don't know how long it is. I've streamed it, I think, for 2 weeks now, and I stream it for about an hour. Every level you play through takes maybe about an hour, so I'd say there's probably maybe like a good 10 levels. So I'd say if you're pretty efficient, it'd probably take you maybe like 8 to 10 hours to complete. I'm currently at the last level, so I'll be finishing Samurai Jack tomorrow when I stream on Sunday. So
Okay.
then I'll have a good idea of how long it is. But yeah, it's not super long. It doesn't take very long to beat. It's just the combat isn't satisfying enough to make you feel like you're really enjoying your playtime. For me.
Gotcha. Yeah, How Long to Beat says the main story is about 6 hours, and the main plus extra is like 8.5. So yeah, I would say like
Okay, so maybe I'm
8.5
just
sounds good.
bad.
Yeah.
It's taking me longer because I'm just bad.
Dude, that happens all the time where it's like, it takes 6 hours. I'm like, dude, I've been playing this for 20 hours. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
my biggest complaint on a personal level is every single time you die. It's kind of cool because when you die, it does like kind of like a cartoon cut panel where it zooms in on Jack's face. It's kind of cool.
Okay.
But the worst part is that when you die, even on your very first death, the game goes, hey, if this is too hard, you can always lower the difficulty.
Oh,
no.
no.
Like, no, don't even, like, I get if I'm dying a lot, you might propose that,
Yeah.
but don't not when I die the first time. Don't just be like, hey, why don't you make this easier? No. How about you just be smoother and we wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah, no, I hate it whenever a game does that. When it pushes the easy mode onto you whenever you fail.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm now gonna stay on this difficulty just to prove to you that I'm gonna do this and you're gonna deal with it.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I'm too stubborn to play games on easy. I play games on normal or hard, and if I struggle, I'm too stubborn. I just
suck
deal
it
with
up.
it.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm the same way. I rarely ever go down to easy unless I just want to go through it. I don't care, but yeah, usually I don't like going down to easy.
I either don't beat it or I get good. Those are my only choices. There's no easy option.
Well, let's see. It looks like you've also been playing Tony Hawk.
Yeah. So from your guys' episode last week, I believe it was Kyle, you mentioned that you weren't. I think none of you actually had the desire to buy Tony Hawk at launch, but you guys all got Avengers. I'm the opposite. I never got Avengers, but I got Tony Hawk on launch day. So
us
I've
how
never
it is.
played.
They did come out the same day.
Yeah, they came out on that same Friday. Tony Hawk, I love it. I'm still on Pro Skater 1. I haven't played the Pro Skater 2 levels, and the game is amazing. Like,
Wow, that makes me so happy.
like I don't remember I never played Pro Skater 1 from the old days. I played Pro Skater 2, so I'll be more familiar when I finally get to that one.
Mm-hmm.
But the gameplay is so satisfying. Like, getting the skill points to make yourself faster or jump higher or anything else is so satisfying. But every time I wipe out, it never feels like the game is cheating me when I fail. It feels like every time I fail or don't get an objective done, it's on me.
Yeah.
And it just creates that ceiling of like, I know I can do everything in this game. I just have to practice and get better at it.
Yeah.
And the systems in it are so well designed that nothing feels overwhelming. Like, oh man, how do I get this big combo? Like, once you play a level enough times, you start learning the layout and the good areas that fit your style of what tricks you like to do.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it just creates this good cycle of, okay, cool. I now have like a mental pathway of how I'm going to play this level, how I'm going to incorporate my tricks. So I'm a big manual and grinding player. I don't really do spins or grabs or flips too much.
Mm-hmm.
But getting better, I have now gotten to the point where I'm able to, not perfectly, but very seamlessly transition from doing flip tricks or spins into grinds. And I've been noticing that every time I play, even for like half an hour, I get drastically better at the game, all because the systems are just encouraging me to get better.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would recommend that game in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and it sounds like it is one of the good examples of a remake.
Oh, it is.
From what I've heard. Yeah, that they pretty much brought it into the modern age. Like it isn't like they remade as it was the first two games. They brought it up into the now times. Like everyone's older now, or even the stages themselves seem to have aged. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Interesting.
I only play as Tony Hawk right now, and because I don't really know skateboarding very much, but like they have a bunch of other skaters, and you can still collect skill points and make every skater the same. So if you like how Tony Hawk's initial stats are, then use him because he might be better at what you want to do. But after you play so many levels and get the skill points to level up your stats, you can really play as any skater in the game because then you'll just max out their stats and make them all play roughly the same.
Yeah.
So even then, the farther you get, you're not really penalized of, oh man, I played so much of Tony Hawk. Now if I play as his son, Riley Hawk, he's going to be bad by comparison. You have to collect the skill points, but you already know how to play it. And even though your stats are lowered, that doesn't mean you're bad at the game. It just means you probably can't be as flashy because you don't have as much speed or height, power, or anything else. But you can still make everything work despite switching skaters. And there's also the creative skater, so you can also just play as yourself.
Yeah.
I think I usually played as Chad Muska. Who I played as.
I think he's in it. My friend plays as like, I forget his last name. It's like Ryan something. That's like his favorite skater, so he plays as him.
Okay.
Or no,
Gotcha.
he plays as Ryan, or he plays as Tyshawn Jones. He plays as one of those two skaters. So I just play as Tony Hawk, because that's all I know.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
I would be the same. I think maybe back in the day that was the same for me. I would play as Tony, only because that's the only one that I know.
Yeah, I would recommend picking that up, because I have not had any complaints with it. Like, I've never thought, man, I could have waited to pick this up, or man, I didn't need this at launch. Like, I haven't been playing it a ton because I've been doing a lot of other stuff throughout my weeks. But every time I sit down to play it for like an hour, I have a blast every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what they're gonna do now with Tony Hawk's 3 and 4. Like, do they
I hope they
remake
bring
those
them.
ones? Do they add them in as DLC, or is it just like here's a new package of 3 and 4, or it's something else? Who knows? Or like, do they stop there after that, or do they just make a new one? Like, hey, let's make a new Tony Hawk's.
I would almost say go the DLC route, to be honest. I mean, if you already have such a great foundation, I could just see him being like, hey, we're gonna add Tony Hawk's 3 and 4, as like an entire whole expansion. Even if they were like, hey, it's gonna be like $20 or $30 for like 2 whole new games in this game, I would buy it. I never played 3 or 4, but I would buy it and play
so
it and be
good.
like, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, I think that going the DLC route would be nice, but I do think that them doing another package with 2 games. Since this one was 2 games, you could easily do another one with just 3 and 4, and I think that Activision would do that instead of the DLC. But I
That makes
would
the
like
most
for them
sense
to
me.
yeah, I would like for them to bring back 3, since that's the one that I played. I think maybe I would give it a shot if it were 3, but since it's just 1 and 2, and I'm not that big into the games that are just do the same thing but try to be better and better and chasing that high score, that's not typically my type of game. But I do have fond memories of 3, and so maybe if they bring it, I will play that one.
Oh, but Ignacio, like whenever you see that high score and you're like, that's what I did. Just being able to hit that higher score or do better or just be on top, man, like, it's so satisfying, man. You don't know what you're missing.
I'm more of the guy that just wants a different challenge, not the same challenge over and over again. I'd like
fair.
moving on. I'd like
Fair.
to move on.
I would only say DLC, because if I had one single complaint, is that the Creative Skater does not have a ton of options to customize yourself. But that's not like a deal breaker, but they could have more skater options when you're creating a skater. I don't know how the create a park is. I haven't done that yet, so I don't know how the functions in that are, but I assume that's pretty good because I haven't seen anybody else anywhere complain about it too much. So, but even then, the create a skater functions isn't, a deal breaker. So
Yeah.
That's good.
yeah.
Good stuff.
I would suggest you guys pick it up, because it also has online multiplayer and local multiplayer, so you could play with online friends or local friends.
Yeah,
That's sweet.
but again, if it were 3, I would probably do it. But if it's just 1 and 2, so I don't have any attachment to those.
Oh man. But Ignacio, we could totally play horse online and see who can whip out the larger combo.
Maybe one day we'll
1v1,
convince
man.
him.
1v1.
Yeah, 1v1 in Avengers, man.
No.
So, what else have you been playing, Alan?
Man, I play so much. I'm so sorry. Other than
It's
that,
okay.
I've already played it a ton, but on my YouTube, I'm doing like a little playthrough series of Monster Hunter. This game came
Which
out,
one?
Monster Hunter World.
Oh, nice.
It's the only Monster Hunter game that I've played, and it was my introduction to the series. I know, so late. But this is easily like my favorite game of all time. I have played through this game with my other half, a coworker that I work with, and now I'm playing through it a third time. Like, it's gonna sound totally ridiculous, but I have like almost like 2,000 hours in this game. I have played it so much. And
yeah, I can see that. There's a lot to do in there.
And for 2 years in a row, this Monster Hunter World was my #1 most played game by a large margin 2 years in a row. That's how much I
Wow.
played this game.
Well,
So I love it. It's been out almost 3 years now, and they have their final major update coming like October 1st, and then there won't be any more major updates. So the lifespan of the game is coming to an end.
hmm But you have to
Unfortunately,
figure that a new Monster Hunter has to be coming soon.
Oh, dude, I hope. Like
Yeah.
I would
dream,
imagine
my
within
dream,
like a first year and a half or so of these new consoles.
Yeah, I
Oh,
wouldn't
dude,
be surprised.
my dream is literally Sony announces a new Monster Hunter game for the PS5, or if I don't get that, they just say, "Hey, Monster Hunter World is backwards compatible and is gonna see upgrades on the PS5," and I'll be like, "Well, looks like I'm playing it again."
My only big complaint with the game is that it is meant to be a game that you play through with other people, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it doesn't do a good job at it because you cannot just play through the story with other people. It is so convoluted. If you want to play with other people doing it, I think it's so convoluted, especially if you are all just starting from zero.
Yes, I will knack it for that. Playing, if you have a dedicated group of 4 friends, of like you and 3 other friends to play through it with, playing through the game you can do, but it's definitely you're kind of jumping through hoops.
Yeah.
Because you all have, the biggest thing is you all have to boot up the same quest, the same story quest, separately to see the cutscene in the middle of the quest. And then once all of you see the cutscene, you can then all fight the monster together. So either the other 3 people leave their quest to join your quest, or you all quit the quest and then reboot the quest up to then join it together. So it is a little bit stupid, all the hoops you have to go through to play through with friends. But if I'm being honest, I'm just a solo hunter, man. I just solo the whole game.
Yeah,
I'm
but
strong on
I mean-
strong arm, and this one's mine.
Whole team
I
on my
recent-
back.
I recently played through the game with 3 other friends, and we did have one friend that played through the whole game before us. And yeah, it was always, okay, we 3 that haven't played through the mission, we have to go into the mission, while the other one has to just stay back and do anything else that he wants to do. And then, wait until we get to the cutscene, and then the first 2 people that got to the cutscene and watched through all of the cutscene, which you cannot skip.
Yep.
Two of us had to quit and then join the game of the third one after he watched the cutscene.
Yeah,
It was
I'm not
always so
even
annoying.
I'm not even gonna pretend to defend it.
Yeah, it's always so annoying.
Yeah, and if you don't have an SSD hard drive in your PlayStation or I guess Xbox or whatever, the load
Yeah.
times can be kind of annoying.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But if you get an SSD, oh man, the loads are so fast. And it really minimizes the issue, but if you don't invest in an SSD, then it's an even larger problem just because of that.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
Yeah, they need to fix that. If they make a new game or port it, they really could have done better. But with all the free content they've added to the game over its 3-year lifespan almost,
Yeah,
I
sure.
honestly don't really like get mad about it because everything is so free and everything else that yeah, it's annoying, but I can deal with that with all this free content. So
Yeah,
works.
they added a lot of stuff, even to the point that as someone who just got into the game, it at times it did become a bit too much for me because there was so much in there.
oh yeah, if you start from scratch, there is so much stuff you can do in the game.
Yeah,
Like you have so much lifespan if you buy that game brand new today. You can get so much out of that. But yeah.
Good stuff, indeed. Let's switch gears then. Ignacio, how was
Yep.
your week been?
Oof. It was the first half was very, very tiring and very, very hard, and then the second half was very relaxed.
That's good
So-
though. Was it like
Yeah.
because you're in school right now. So
Exactly.
was it like
Yeah, so
midterms or something?
no, I just had 2 tests this week, and basically Monday, Tuesday was all day just studying. That's what I did all day. But I did get to play some games in the week. I don't know. Do you want to talk about Avengers first, or do you want me to talk about the other ones?
Let's do your other ones first, and then when you're done with that, we can switch to Avengers since I played that one too.
I started SteamWorld Dig 2. Like I said last week, I finished SteamWorld Dig 1, and so I decided to go back into the sequel because that's the one that I had played first a while ago. And I gotta say, it is half of it is pretty much the same game as the first one. It's just you go into the mines, you keep digging, find treasure, go back up, get upgrades, and all, rinse and repeat. But the other half of it is, it feels like they went like further, or they put more work into this game than the last one. For example, there's more story in this one. There's more dialogue in this one. They added pretty much like RPG elements to it, where now if you defeat bugs that you find or certain treasure, if you collect certain treasure, you get XP, which wasn't in the other one, in the other game. And so getting XP, you can level up, and by leveling up, you get now better prices for selling your stuff. Or now you can find cogs, which cogs let you pretty much work as modifiers. Throughout the game, you start getting modifiers either by finding certain blueprints or by getting newer tools. Get modifiers, for example, if you break a tile that has ore in it, it also breaks the tiles that are touching it, for example.
Gotcha.
And so it is pretty much the same game, but they added so much more stuff into it.
So I never played the first one. So when you go down to dig for stuff and then just come back up and just rinse and repeat, is it roguelike to some degree, or is it just the same map and you're just constantly going deeper, or is it just, like I said, roguelike, where it's just randomly generated maps that you're digging down?
I don't know if it is randomly generated or not, but yeah, you just go into the same, pretty much the same cave, let's call it, or the same hole. And
you just go farther?
Yeah, you just keep going further and further. You get to the point where your pickaxe either requires more hits for the pickaxe to break something, or it straight up cannot break stuff. So that's why you have to start upgrading your stuff, or there's just things that are too hard, so you need a different tool for it.
Okay.
But yeah, at least on the first one, there were 3 different like caves, let's call it. So you go pretty much to the bottom of one, and then you'd find the entrance to the next one. And that would be, for example, the first one is just dirt. The second one was more like darker stuff. You had acid in it and different kinds of stuff, darker stuff. And then the third one was more like futuristic dirt on it.
Okay, so that's why you can't just go as deep as you want, because you have to go back up to make your pickaxe stronger to be able to go deeper.
Exactly. Okay. And also you have a lamp that has a limited amount of fuel in it. You can find fuel while digging, or if you defeat enemies, some of them drop fuel. But then if you run out of fuel, you can pretty much only see your character and a bit at your sides. And so that's why you also have to go back up if you run out of fuel, just to refuel.
So then you'll get flanked.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Or also you fall into a hole, and there's fall damage in here, so you die maybe. And so
are you pretty fragile? Like, do you die easily?
It depends, because there's also an upgrade, for example, that lets you get more hits, or it reduces fall damage. That's a lot of stuff that you can you can upgrade in this game, which I like. and
Yeah.
even more in the second one, since it's more of an RPG now.
I've
Even better.
always heard good things about these games, that they're really, really fun.
Yeah, it is kind of like mindless fun going through it. It's just
Interesting. Okay.
you go down, I don't know, because you have to be conscious of the path that you're creating, because you have to go back up, jumping through the, like, basically wall jumping through the dirt that you just broke. So if you just create a huge hole,
That makes sense.
you'd
Yeah.
be in some deep trouble because you cannot get back up. So you have to be conscious with the path that you're creating,
Interesting.
that you'll be able to go back up.
It's a terrible comparison. For some reason, you're like, the way you're describing it and whatever I'm thinking, I'm relating it to like Minecraft in a way.
In a way, it is kind of like Minecraft. In a way.
Or what is it? The 2D one, Terraria? Maybe
Yeah.
more like that. Maybe more like that.
Pretty much. Yeah, there is a comparison in there with
Okay.
Terraria. Yeah.
I mean, Minecraft's pretty fun. I mean, I used to like that game. I used to play it a lot.
Yeah, me too.
So,
But yeah,
awesome.
Terraria is kind of a good comparison with the
Okay.
whole digging mechanic.
Yeah, I never actually got into Terraria. I preferred the more 3D world of Minecraft.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, me too. I got into a bit of Terraria, but it just made me want to go and play Minecraft.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Alright.
that's pretty much everything I got with SteamWorld Dig 2.
At least you're enjoying it.
Yeah, I am. And it's holding me... It is something that I can play until the next thing that I can play on my Switch. Next week.
Oh yeah. Well.
Huh?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Next
Yeah,
week.
Mario.
Yeah. That Mario, dude. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Let's go. 1 week.
Let's go.
Can't wait.
See, okay,
Exactly.
I really want to hear, Ignacio, you talk about
Oh, no.
another game.
Yeah? Which game?
You see, we talked about it before, but I really want to know about this Digimon Rearise.
Oh, you mean the
All
other
right,
game that
I
is-
need to hear this.
Oh, okay. So last week I talked about how I have also been playing a mobile Digimon game.
Oh man.
So I added it in here because we've been in such a Digimon streak these past few weeks. So I thought might as well talk about the game that I've been playing a lot, to be honest, a lot on my phone, which isn't something that usually happens. So basically, the basic mechanic of Digimon Rearise, which is the name of the game, the basic mechanic is that you form a team of 5 Digimons. Each one has a main attack and a sub attack, or a sub ability. It doesn't even need to be an attack. And that's pretty much the basic mechanic of the game. The game has a bunch of different things that you can do in it. It has a main story, which isn't the best or most convoluted or most interesting story. It is a pretty basic story, at least from what I've been playing. But I find that it is neat that there is a story. And the story also ties into you basically are partnered with one new Digimon. I think it's new for the game, called Erismon.
Okay.
And so that's pretty much the overall theme of the game, is that you are partnered with Erismon. So there's the main story. There's also clash battles, which are pretty much raid battles. You fight against one big Digimon, which can have a huge health bar. So you try to fight it, and if you fail, you can call up other players to help you defeat it. And eventually you get good loot.
You mentioned these raid battles. Is that the main kind of fighting mechanic? Because you mentioned you had a team of 5, or is it
The team
more
of 5
like...
is the main is the main mechanic. It's the main. You have your team of 5. You fight against something else. Like I said, there are different modes in here. There's
Gotcha.
isn't one thing. That's basically the core mechanic. You have your team of 5 Digimons, and then you can either go into the main story. You go through the story, which is like I said, a basic story. There are raid battles. where you fight against this one big Digimon and you get some loot for defeating it. There are these ranked battles that I think they're pretty cool because they get you some cool rewards and you're placed into different categories. They're basically you start in category I and then you go up and up and up into category A and then category S, which is, and the thing there is that you're fighting against other people, other players.
Gotcha.
Then, like I said, there are different things that you can do in this game. I can't go through everything here.
Ignacio, I'm not gonna lie to you. When you started to talk about this, you could have literally said this game was boring and probably not very good, and you wouldn't recommend it. But just because it's the Digimon brand, I looked it up on my phone and I downloaded it. And these screenshots don't look amazing. They don't entice me. But I'm so excited to play it because it's Digimon, and this could be bad, and I'm in.
Look, I'm doing a horrible job describing the game.
No,
to be honest, it is a horrible job.
It sounds like it has like Pokemon style battles against other players, or you can do these raid battles and stuff like that, which I guess also is now in Pokemon, kind of. Yeah,
but then there are raid battles. There are these vortexes, which get you other rewards. There are these ranked battles. There are the guilds. You also raise your Digimons.
That's a lot.
Like I said, there's a lot in there. That's why I'm having such a big, a hard time describing the game. But what I wanted to say
you're fine.
What I wanted to say is that as a Digimon fan, I'm really enjoying it because this is one of the good examples of a free-to-play mobile game where it feels like you can do pretty much everything and not spend any money in it. There are different types of currencies. There are different types of...
Ignacio, you mentioned the Digimon game at the beginning, and I was already in. Calm down, man. I can't be more in than I already downloaded it. I can't be more in.
You can. You can. Trust me, you can. So there are different types of currencies. There are different types of, let's call it, objects. I don't know how to better describe them. There are these different kinds of stuff. But you can easily not pay any money for any of these. Basically, just you playing it will get you pretty much whatever you need. For example, whenever you digivolve your Digimon, you need to have these certain tokens, let's call them. You could, in theory, pay for the tokens, or you can just play through the game and you'll get them. And it isn't hard. You can get stuff that will make your Digimon stronger. You could, in theory, pay for them, but you can easily get them through playing. Digimon and even the currency, it's more like you give them workout equipment, to be honest.
Oh my god!
But
I'm so stoked to play this.
Look, even the one currency, you can only buy one type of currency.
Ooh.
Even the one type of currency that you can buy, you can very easily get a lot of it just for playing. For example, the ranked battles that I talked about, they give you a ton of currency, a ton of that type of currency, and it's so easy to get them. Like I said, this is one of the best examples that I've found of a free-to-play game done well. That it isn't pushing you to buy stuff.
I'm gonna have to play this over the next week and then let you know how much I'm loving it throughout the week, and then next week, because
Dude, give it a try. It really, and it does, as a Digimon fan, it does bring you in because you know that at first you get all these random Digimons, but you get that one Digimon that you really like, that you want to take it now to Mega and to even further. And you work for that, and you'll enjoy it a lot. Really, as a Digimon fan, I really enjoy it.
As a huge Digimon fan, this has me actually going to be playing a game on my phone that I never do.
Dude, I never play games on my phone, and I'm playing it all day.
Dude, I'm ready, man. I don't even know how. I'll just play this while
and he said Monday and Tuesday he was studying for those tests.
Okay, yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I did sink in a bit of time for it, but yeah.
Hey, you can read a book, or study while playing on your phone. All right, I mean, come on.
That's the other element that I wanted to point out. It isn't like an active battle system, like for example Pokemon, where you have to choose every action of your Pokemon, for example, on Pokemon. In this one, you can take more of a laid back role where the Digimon will attack by themselves.
Okay.
The only commands that you give them is use your special attack and your ability, and then the super ultra special attack. That's pretty much it. All the other stuff the Digimon do on their own, which at first I didn't like because I'm more of a fan of games where I'm more involved. Even Digimon games, other Digimon games have more involved game systems. But by the end, I am really enjoying it because there is a different type of strategy element to it.
Okay, yeah, when you say that they attack by themselves and then you kind of do like special attacks, it reminds me of like Digimon World 1 for the PlayStation and Next Order for like the PS4, where they just kind of do their own thing. So, I mean, I already kind of know how that'll work, but I wasn't a big fan of that either. But, I mean, I'm in, man.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of those either. It is, I guess in a way, it is kind of like the Digimon World games. But I would say this one is more involved than even those.
Well, the other World games were involved. World 1 was just kind of not very involved.
Yeah.
Or I guess way too vague with what you had to do.
Yeah, then what's the name? Next Order?
Yeah.
You pretty much gave them
the newer one.
Yeah. I remember that you told them what type of moves that you want them to do, but you don't tell them the moves that they do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I played it so little because I really didn't like the mechanics.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I did not enjoy Next Order. I didn't finish that game.
Yeah. Metal Garurumon, right? Yeah.
Whoa, dude.
Yeah.
It's War Greymon, all right? Come on.
Kyle's just trying to get into the conversation.
Like I like Digimon, but I don't know a thing about it, so I'm just sitting here like I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Agumon, am I right?
Metal Garurumon, War Greymon, I know those ones.
Yeah.
Hey man, I already got flack for it when Omnimon. Ignacio, you'll like this one. Omnimon showed up in the Digimon the movie, like as a kid and even as an adult. I get hyped every time. And I forgive that movie for everything else. When I see Omnimon show up, I'm like, you know what? This this movie is flawless. I have no problems.
If you like that scene, and I'm guessing you're talking about you picturing the scene from the Digimon movie, not the original one, like the English dub, I'm assuming.
It's the English one. It's Digimon, like the movie where they're fighting Diaboromon.
Yeah, exactly.
In English, yeah.
I recommend that you go into YouTube and look up the original Japanese one, because it really is so epic, so more epic, I would say.
All right, I'm really sorry for this, but when it comes to like anime and stuff, I vastly prefer dubs over subs. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Kyle.
Let's move on because
blasphemy.
Kyle knows where.
I'm sorry.
Kyle knows I can go hours on this, so let's move on.
I'll watch a sub, but if it's in English, I'll watch it more.
Yeah, Kyle, hold me back. Kyle, hold me back.
I'm sorry.
We already did this. Kyle is getting flashbacks to the other episode where I just went and talked about the Digimon movie for a long time.
Dude,
let's move on to Avengers.
I wish I was there.
How about that?
Okay.
So that way we can just diffuse the whole situation and move on to something else.
Hey, the idea's already been planted. You'll never forget.
God, exactly. The Digimon movie is so bad.
No.
You have no idea.
No.
So Avengers. Ignacio and I have been playing Avengers.
You finished it, right?
I did, yeah. I beat the campaign. I really enjoyed the campaign mode. I thought it was pretty decent. I really liked the final mission.
So you warmed up to it.
When you're saying decent, it doesn't sound like you enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
If I had to put it on a number scale, I would say the story campaign is a solid 8 out of 10.
Wow.
Okay, so better than decent.
However, I mean, yeah. I mean, there are things that like are not good about this and stuff like that. Like again, we mentioned last week, it still felt like there were things that they cut out of the story mode that should have been there. Just like it feels like I'm missing scenes. So there are still issues with that. I didn't like a lot of the traversal. I just like playing as Kamala and she like stretching her arm out to reach a ledge and that slingshotting you. I just constantly would be like shot up into the air past where I was supposed to go and then fall off and die.
Really?
And I was just like, this is like, guys, come on, just put me on the ground.
I never had a problem with that.
See, you were so positive on Kamala last week, like
yeah.
So here's the thing, like a lot of the actual gameplay stuff, I'm not a huge fan of. The
so you never
fighting,
warmed up to
I
that.
still didn't like. I thought it was slow and clunky, and stuff like that. But the story and what they were trying to do with that campaign, I thought was actually pretty decent.
The narrative itself.
Right, yeah.
That's what you liked.
So for how good the story is, though, like, does the story execute it well enough to compensate for the kind of clunky and slow gameplay?
I think
or not?
so.
Is it not? Okay.
Yeah, I would say so too.
Yeah, which is why I think for me it would sit at like an 8-ish.
However,
yeah, but then like it's not perfect in my mind because I don't like the combat. I'm not a big fan of the multiplayer stuff, so that kind of whole aspect of the game is just like I couldn't care less about this stuff. And from what I understand, that's most people's thoughts too, is that like it's kind of a mess. There's a whole there's a whole bunch of currencies and stuff that are just like obtuse and like, why do we even have this? There's factions in the game of like, what is the purpose of this stuff? Like, I don't understand. And yeah, it seems like they had so many ideas with that and just executed it like very mediocrely. That's
okay.
A good word or not? I don't know, but yeah.
Sorry. So like with the multiplayer, like sorry, just because I'm really curious about this game. So are you not into the multiplayer because you personally don't like multiplayer, or because you would say that it is kind of objectively not well designed right now, or did you never have any interest in playing multiplayer on it?
First and foremost, I'm not a big multiplayer person. I would rather just play a story.
Okay.
By myself, but yeah, I mean the game, like the story mode is like if you think about it in a certain way, the like solo campaign is almost a giant tutorial for what the like post game multiplayer stuff is. Just like, here's all of these different characters you can play as. Here's a couple missions so you get used to their fighting style. Here's these currencies. Here's these factions. Like it's still like giving you new tool tips and stuff. Like in the last mission of like, here's how you do this thing. And just like this
in
is
the last mission.
Yeah, like this is the end of the game. Like I don't know. Like, why are you still introducing me to new stuff?
I don't like that.
But yeah, so I haven't really tried out the multiplayer like to really say much about it, but from what I can glean by playing through the solo campaign, there's just all kinds of currencies. The bad guys all look the same. It's like I found myself like attacking. I found myself attacking Iron Man so many times and being like, oh, that's Mr. Stark. Like, that's not a bad guy. It's because he looks the exact same as them. And yeah, like I just there's not much variety there in the mission styles. I found also in the solo campaign that you can kind of just run by all of the enemies. Like, you don't have to fight most of them. You just go to where you need to go and call the elevator, and then just wait there for that to come, and then go in the next thing and move on. It's just like I didn't need to fight these things.
Yeah, to such a point, yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I hope it gets better, because I do want to dive back in when they start introducing new characters and stuff, just to see what they do with that. But
won't that only be for multiplayer though, or will they add story campaign to that?
Yeah, they'll add the other characters. We already know that, for example, Kate Bishop is going to be added to the game, and they already teased her story, how it will tie to Hawkeye. So we know that there's more story to come.
Yeah, but like, we don't know if that's just gonna be like a cutscene that we watch and then they're available to play as in the multiplayer stuff, or if there is like more story missions, because they've announced like 12 or 13 new characters, so I doubt all of them are getting.
Didn't. That was a leak.
It was leaked. Well, still, it's like, hey,
No,
there's Marvel.
I wouldn't count on
stuff.
I wouldn't count on all of them making being standalone, because we know that I think they promised 6 DLC characters, and so I don't know how the characters from the leaks will tie into that plan for 6 other characters.
We'll see.
But yeah, my opinions on the game are in a way similar to yours, but in another way different from yours. I do think that the game is kind of stuck in between trying to be a single player Avengers game and a multiplayer Avengers game in a certain way. I am really enjoying the story, and I think that the story itself, I'm really enjoying it, and then the gameplay segments, I feel like I enjoy it the most when I'm not fighting against a whole squad of enemies, where I'm Kamala and I'm trying to get to this certain place, or I'm Black Widow and I'm trying to get to someone or whatever. I feel like I enjoy those moments more than whenever I'm stuck in a room with, say, 5 enemies, and then there's another wave that comes, and then another wave that comes, until I can finally go and move on. I enjoy the gameplay more, I think, than you do, Kyle. I'm really enjoying it more. I feel like, to me, personally, I think that every character that I played as, in a way, feels like what I think the character should feel like. Like I said before, I think that Hulk feels like Hulk, and I can do the things that I would expect Hulk to do. For example, like, I can grab people and then either throw them at other people or just hammer them into the ground. I can be Iron Man, and I can use the repulsors like I thought the repulsors should be used. Or Captain America, the shield, using it. I think that it does feel like how it should. I know, Kyle, you disagreed last time when I said that.
I didn't like how the characters felt, but I'm wondering if that's just because, like, Kate Bishop might be the one that's for me, or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
for example, I'm big into the Iron Man, and I know a lot of other people don't like him.
So is Iron Man your favorite to play as?
Yeah, because with him I get the advantage of I can also fly, and I can be on the ground, and I really like using the repulsors. I know that that's such a small thing, but I really like using them. But he is probably my main.
Well, once you start leveling them up, like, they do get better. To be like, okay, now I have this move, and now if I jump off of something, I can smash the ground, or you know. But yeah, like, it still just felt slow.
Yeah. But yeah, with regards to the multiplayer, since I haven't been in the story, I haven't done the multiplayer, and I found myself that with the with all the stuff that has to do with multiplayer that you find in a single player, whether it be finding new chests for better upgrades or talking to the faction people and getting their currencies, I'm just ignoring them for the most part.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll play the multiplayer much, so that's mainly why I'm not worrying too much of getting, oh, there's a chest with better gear. I know that the gear that I have will be useful enough. Maybe I'll need it for the multiplayer later on, but right now I don't need it.
What would they need to do to really sucker you in to make you want to actually like play the multiplayer? Because Kyle's more of a single player, but what would bring you in? Like, what would get you into the multiplayer, Ignacio?
I'm also more of a single player guy. I really don't play multiplayer games that much. The only way that I would see myself going more into the multiplayer would be that if by the end of the game I still want to play the game. Not necessarily, it doesn't have to do with what I do, but just playing the game. If by the end of the game that I'm left feeling that I want to keep playing, or if the multiplayer has story elements that I want to see. Maybe that's a way that I keep playing the multiplayer, but I don't know.
So since you both have, because you both finished the campaign, so
no,
for
I haven't.
Oh, you haven't. Are you
No.
close or?
I just got Thor, so I don't
Okay.
know how much further I have to go.
I want to say you're like 2/3 of the way through, I think.
Okay.
So then, for someone like me who hasn't bought it and is kind of on the fence with it being $60, so me also not really gonna be playing the multiplayer. Do you think the game personally is worth the $60, or would it be better to kind of wait for it to go on sale to experience just the campaign by itself?
I would say wait to go
Wait?
on sale. Yeah, because it's also
I think-
kind of buggy still.
Oh, okay. Like even the campaign is pretty buggy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I know you mentioned the Kamala thing.
I personally haven't encountered many bugs, to be honest. Nothing game breaking. Like at most I just got one scene, or not even a scene. Like there were two characters just talking in the main world, and one of them wasn't moving his mouth. I haven't
And that's
gotten
not a
much.
big deal.
No.
Kind of annoying,
And
but-
then some weird cuts where I know it cuts from one room to the other one, but for whatever reason the camera cuts to just a corner of the room, of one of the rooms.
Okay.
But that's for 1/2 of a second.
I guess I'm just kind of worried that with Avengers being more of a games as service going forward with multiplayer, I guess I'm just kind of worried that as they release updates and patches, they're going to primarily focus on only the multiplayer and kind of leave the single player, the single player mainly untouched. Like maybe they'll touch up stuff when they add characters to story campaign, but not really fix big issues in the campaign itself because they'll focus more on the multiplayer aspect.
I don't know if I would say the solo campaign had like big issues per se, or stuff that like wasn't game breaking. So it might be that they are focusing more on multiplayer when they fix things, but yeah, I mean, like that's the thing. It's only like a 10 or 12 hour game, and if you're not going to be diving into the multiplayer, then yeah, you might just want to wait for it to go on sale.
Yeah, if it goes on sale,
patched.
Yeah, if it goes on sale, I'll pick it up.
Yeah, to your question that if it is worth that much, I would say maybe it depends on what we see from the DLC.
Okay.
If the DLC does come with if each character does come with a good story, and you like say 1 or 2 hours, I would say that if we know that there will be 6 characters, and even if the game doesn't drop in price, I would say that it would be worth it.
Okay.
And even for the story right now, I would say that if you are a big Avengers fan, it could be worth it.
I don't think I'll say anything there.
Oh God, what? Don't tell me you don't like the Avengers.
No, I like the Avengers, but I haven't watched a fair chunk of them.
That's
I think
oh
I've only,
my God,
think I
Kyle! What happened to
think-
the betting system?
I think
Yeah.
I've only
Why
seen.
didn't you bet him?
What is it? I think I've seen Iron Man 1, the first Captain America, the first Thor movie, both Ant-Man movies.
Look, man, like
Avengers.
some things are not for everyone, right?
Yeah, I watched
don't
Infinity
care.
War and Endgame without, like, I saw Vision
Why
or whatever
would
his
you
name
do
was.
that?
I saw Vision and I was like, who is this dude?
But do you not like those kind of movies or what?
Well, I'm actually not a very big movie person. I don't watch a ton of movies.
Okay.
I primarily play games in my free time. I don't watch a lot of movies or a ton of TV. Sometimes I do,
gotcha.
but not very
Got it.
often.
gotcha.
So it's not that I
get-
not that I don't like the Avengers. I
Yeah.
just don't watch it a ton.
Yeah, I guess if you don't watch movies, you wouldn't necessarily get into the MCU.
Hey, I loved Infinity War and Endgame. Those movies were awesome.
Yeah, indeed they
And
were.
you didn't watch the other ones. Yeah.
Hey, I still knew who some characters were. All right, I knew when I saw Ant-Man, I was like, hey, I seen your movies.
Hey, I know you, but I don't know you, and you, and you, and you, and you. I don't know
Yeah.
any of you.
Yeah, the Wakanda tribe and Vision and
Yeah.
what is it? Red Scarlet, the girl that loves
Scarlet
Vision.
Witch.
Scarlet Witch. I'm like, who are these people in this movie?
Good stuff. Well, yeah. Do you have last thoughts on Avengers, Ignacio?
No, other than I'm really enjoying the story.
Okay.
That's
Good
pretty
stuff.
much the takeaway
Yeah.
here.
Good.
The last thing that I have been playing is Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and I finally beat that game. Thank God. I got past the boss that I was stuck on, and I played the rest of the game, and I beat it. And yeah, that game is amazing. That game is so
You got good, Kyle. You got
I
good.
did get good.
Finally.
So I would hereby like to formally announce that I got good.
Good job.
Good.
Kyle has gotten good.
Claps all around.
Yeah, no, the thing that is different about that game compared to the first is that they add in all of those side quests and stuff like that. And I think after, like, I wanted to play the game just kind of ignoring those. Like, let me go to the new section, let me beat the boss, let me get the thing that I need to get, and then move on. And I eventually just got stuck on this one boss because I was too weak. And it was just like, your attacks are barely and shit, and you get hit and you die in like 3 hits. And so it's just like, ugh, this is the worst. So yeah, just had to go level up and do a bunch of these side missions and find, some of these not secret things, but yeah, just like some more power-ups and stuff. And then I got to upgrade all of my stuff, and yeah, the rest of the game was a breeze.
See, all you had to do was just go do all that optional stuff, and look at
Yeah.
that, it made you overpowered.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, that game is good. If you guys like 2D platformers and stuff like that, it's incredible. Play those games because they're really good.
Isn't it Ori only for PC and Xbox, right?
Yeah. Well,
I believe the first one at least is on Switch.
Yeah.
Oh, the first
one
one's on
did.
Switch. Okay.
Yeah.
The second one probably will, but no
Yeah.
word anytime soon.
Man, I know why, but like, why can't it just come to PlayStation? I just want to play it there.
One day, maybe. Who knows?
Probably.
I know.
We'll see.
One day, probably.
But yeah, I think that's all we've been playing. So let's move on to housekeeping. If you guys did not know, we have multiple podcasts here at the Whatnauts. You guys can find out more information on our website, thewhatnauts.com, as well as your favorite podcasting platform of choice. Just type in the Whatnauts and all of our shows will pop up right there. And if you guys like what we do, patreon.com/thewhatnauts is where you can support us for as little as $1 a month. And then at our $3 tier, we have all kinds of exclusive content. So be on the lookout for more stuff coming down the road. And last but not least, a big shout out to our Patreon supporters at the $5 tier. So thank you, Sam, so much for supporting us. We appreciate it. And yeah, thank you.
You're the boss.
So
Thank you, Sam.
Indeed. All right, let's move on to the news. Guys, we finally got it. Xbox
Finally.
Series X and the Series S. We know how much they are. We know when they're coming out. We know pre-orders. We know all sorts of stuff.
Someone finally blinked.
As a
Yes.
Sony fan, this doesn't pique my interest, but it does give me a better idea of what PlayStation's going to be, which
Exactly.
excites me greatly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this whole thing was wild watching it happen online.
Well,
so-
it's been wild for a while. Let's be honest, for a while.
No, but
The-
Xbox's
the
tweet
game
though
of
that they sent
chicken,
out.
Yeah. So it leaked online, like the information leaked, and then like video of the stuff started to leak as well, and then yeah, Xbox put out this tweet of this meme. It's of this like little puppet monkey who's just like looking at the camera nervously, like side eyeing it and just being like, "Oh shit."
It was so good. It was so funny.
Yeah. Well, the reason that I said that it has been going for a while is that we have pretty much seen a lot of leaks from the Series S, from that controller that one time to
Right? Yeah.
the officially coming from Microsoft, it being on an official Game Pass thing, to now finally the leak that showed us more of the console, and yeah, finally Xbox being like, okay, we'll show it.
I just like how fast Microsoft handled the leak, like how fast they acted and responded and just
Yeah.
made everything totally official. It was so impressive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that because, like I said, we've known about the Series S for a while now, and we've
Yeah.
seen so many leaks that I was surprised that this was the leak that made them go, okay, fine, we'll show it.
Yeah, well, like they had video of the console that like people were showing the prices and stuff like that, and it's just like at that point, it's just like, well, all the information is already out there now. So
Yeah,
here
no.
we go.
Also, apparently, it was planned to be shown next week.
Yeah,
According
I
to
heard that
Spencer.
too.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can't believe that the Series S is gonna be $299.
Yeah.
That shocked me. Like I knew the X was gonna be $499. Like I kind of expected that, and from PlayStation as well. We just don't know their price yet. But I was not expecting the Series S to straight up be that much cheaper. Like I was thinking maybe like a $50 difference,
Well-
100 at max, as everyone always thinks. But $299.
In a vacuum, yeah, it is impressive in a vacuum, but if you look at the internals for this console and
Yeah.
what it actually brings, and you compare it, for example, to the One X, apparently the Xbox One X is in certain ways more powerful than the Series S, and also we've seen the One X
really, that's
being
not what
dropped
I'm
to.
hearing.
Yeah, I'm hearing a little
Well-
different as well.
Well, going by teraflops, which is something that Microsoft has been talking about a lot, it has fewer teraflops than the One X. And also, it
Interesting.
just came out that it cannot play Xbox One X enhanced
Right.
backwards compatible games.
Yeah, it doesn't get the same enhancements as the Series X does.
It cannot play enhanced One X enhanced.
Yeah.
So here's all of the details that we know. This is coming from Phil Spencer himself at Xbox.com. We know, that the Series S has now been confirmed. It is the smallest Xbox console. It will only do up to 1080p, so it will not do 4K. But from what I understand, it will have these like almost the exact same insides as this Series X. So that's kind of what I've been hearing, that it's still pretty powerful, that it still packs a good old punch. But we'll see.
I like when my speaker is that strong.
Right?
Because it looks like a speaker.
It does look like a speaker.
So both of the consoles will be launching on November 10th, and pre-orders begin very soon on September 22nd. The Series S, which is the smaller one, is $299, and the Series X, which is the larger one that can do 4K and all that stuff, is $499. Whew. So let's see. Then there is also the Xbox All Access, which allows for a financing option for some customers, and that will get you the Xbox for as low as $24.99 a month over 2 years, and that includes Game Pass Ultimate. So if that is an option for you, that is an incredible deal.
Which it is worth mentioning that it does add up to $600 by the end of the 2 years.
Oh, it
but
does?
But you do have to take into account that it does have Game Pass Ultimate.
True.
Yeah.
So I think that's yeah, you're pretty much paying half for the console and half for Game Pass Ultimate.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but
I don't have an Xbox, so I didn't know that. That is a steal.
Yeah, I know it's not available for everyone. It's basically dependent on your credit, and stuff like that. If you can get that deal, but if you are, $25 a month to get the new Xbox and have Game Pass and stuff. Great
for the S, not the X. Also.
Yeah. So $24.99 a month is for the Series S, and then I think $35 a month is for the Series X. So still great.
Which
deal.
also it is worth mentioning that it isn't something new. They did this also for the, as far as I remember, the One X and maybe the One, but apparently they also did that for the 360.
Yeah, I think eventually, they did some stuff with that there.
Yeah.
And last but not least, EA Play is also coming to Game Pass at no additional cost. So that's
Nice.
like 60-something EA games, I think is what they said, now available on Game Pass. So, yeah, great.
Another great deal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Holy moly. Good stuff. So yeah, Alan, let me toss this to you. You said you're not a big Xbox fan, but why does this news excite you as a PlayStation fan?
So, okay, I've been seeing reports on this, and I've talked to like other people at my work about this, and a lot of people I know personally are big PlayStation fans, where they just want to know the PlayStation price. Yeah. And we already kind of know that PlayStation is both consoles are gonna launch in November anyway. So now you have a better idea of when the PS5 will launch and a rough price of what not the digital version, but the disc version will be. But even regardless of giving us more details of PlayStation, this is exciting because even if you're not a PlayStation fan, and with people being out of jobs this year or having financial struggles in the times that we live in,
right,
being able to get a Series S for $299 at launch is such a great option for people to opt in, especially with like the deals you get for the $24.99 a month. So as a PlayStation fan, this doesn't really pertain to me because they could have like an amazing deal and it won't make me buy one. But if I had excess income or something happened, I'm not going to lie, this is exciting because then I would finally, for the first time in a generation, own a PlayStation and an Xbox system side by side, because I would just buy the most expensive PlayStation 5 and I would just buy the really cheap standard Series S to play their exclusives, which, I mean, not being an Xbox fan, the price point alone of $299 excites me, even though I honestly feel like if you're going to buy the next console generation, you would buy the best thing available. So I do feel like the Series S will struggle in compared to the X, because the X will obviously be far more powerful in the end anyways. But if you're looking just to get into video games or anything else and you're not really a big gamer, Xbox is definitely opening the door for you, which is awesome to get more people playing video games in general.
See, I don't know if I quite agree with you that the Series S will struggle. I think this is gonna do gangbusters. Because
outsell the X.
I don't know
I
about
wouldn't bet
outselling.
either way, to be honest.
I think it's gonna do really solid because, yeah, like you had said, like with all the coronavirus stuff and so many Americans being unemployed, having kids who are like, hey, there's a new Xbox out, and they go see like, hey, you can get the Series X and that's $500, or you can get the one that's $300 and it can play all the same games. It's just not in 4K. Like, hell yeah, that's a steal, right?
It also reminds me of Nintendo Switch. Like, several families own two of them, for one for you and for, kids that you have. So you have the Switch or the Switch Lite. This almost reminds me of the same thing. If you want the Series X to just do, big macho things for you, then cool. But if your kids or family wants one, then hey, they don't need the highest fidelity or anything else that the X offers. So you can just buy them an introduction Series S, and it's not costing you, $499 twice. It's just costing you $499 and then $299. It's way better to buy a second console, kind of like how the Switch, like I said, has the Switch and then the Switch Lite.
Yeah. Because for me specifically, I have this new PC, so I at first was like, yeah, I'm gonna get this Series X no matter what, day one. Like, they've sold me. And then I got this new PC, and it's like, well, I don't really need it now. And then they said, and the Series S is $299, and I was like, well, I could probably do that.
Yeah, I think I'm in.
Yeah, like I'm now debating on if I want to get one sooner. I still probably won't, and I'll still end up getting the Series X maybe a year or two from now. Who knows? But yeah, I'm now considering going back and just being like, I mean, I could put one on my TV in my bedroom, like maybe.
So no matter what, this doesn't entice you to buy one at launch, no matter what, even with that $299 price point. Like, you're not going to buy one at launch regardless.
No, not at launch, because I think also at the end of the day, they don't really have a game that I want to play right away on that.
That's true.
If Halo was there, maybe, but even then, I have Game Pass on my PC, so like I still don't need the Xbox there.
See, as a Sony person, when we get that announcement, I'm in, man. I'm gonna buy the PS5 at launch. I'm psycho. They could delay Miles Morales, and I will still buy the 5 at launch just because I want the new thing. I want it.
That's also probably because you haven't seen the movie. If I'm going out on a limb here.
Wait. You mean the Into the Spider-Verse?
It's yeah, sure. Or all the Spider-Man stuff.
No. I've seen Homecoming, Far From Home, and I saw Spider-Verse.
Okay.
I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I made sure to watch those.
Okay, good.
Come on, have some faith.
To me, sorry.
Go ahead. I was just about to toss it to you and ask you your thoughts, Ignacio.
To me, first of all, as a Sony fan, it does get me a bit excited knowing these prices, because now the ball is on Sony's court. It is their time to react, and it is now there being a cheaper console. It is a newer form of competition for Sony and the PlayStation. And so I hope that it does push them in a way to try to be better. Competition is always good. Now, trying to be a bit more objective, First of all, now I can see why, or it makes sense now why Microsoft discontinued the One X, and it's because
they did.
The Series S is clearly being a replacement for the One X.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Like I said before, like I said a bit ago, going by teraflops, which I know that it isn't everything, but Microsoft has been leaning a lot towards teraflops and how teraflops are the end all be all measure. Going by teraflops, the One X has 6 teraflops. The Series S has. Hold on, I had it here. Damn it, I lost it.
Oh no!
Damn it, I lost it.
Well, if you want to look that up really quick, Ignacio, I will say that even with the Series S being $299, regardless of what we hear from Sony on their disc version and their digital version, Sony will not be able to match that $299.
Oh no!
Oh
Like,
yeah,
$299. There's no way.
Yeah. Okay, I found it here. So the One X 6 teraflops, the Series S is 4 teraflops.
Okay.
So it is going by teraflops. It is less powerful than the One X, and also, but at the beginning of the year, Microsoft had already started selling the One X at that point, at that price of $299. So right now, I can see why they discontinued the One X, because if you put the One X next to the Series S, the One X would probably outsell the Series X just because it is more powerful. You could probably get it by the same price.
Yeah.
I feel like the Series X is going to outsell. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I feel like the X is going to outsell the S like 70-30.
Interesting.
Well, the other point that I wanted to talk about is as to why I don't see either one outselling the other one. I cannot tell either way, is because nothing to this point tells me that this is something that will entice people that didn't give Xbox a shot before to give this either Series S or Series X a shot.
Yeah.
Like I said before, if you didn't get a One X, why would you get a Series S now? Because they do play the same games. It is pretty much the same. And then the Series X, the one never was capable of catching up to the PS4. So I don't see many people, if the PS5 comes out at the same price as the Series X, I don't see many people choosing the Series X over the other one, because, like I said before, if you didn't get it before, why are you getting it now?
Yeah, true.
Gotcha.
So
let's move on to the Ubisoft Forward. Let's see. So yeah, Ubisoft had another one of their Ubisoft Forward showcases. They're not conferences, but yeah. So they had another one of those. Here's a bit of a recap coming from Ubisoft.com. I pulled a couple of the highlights. Let's see. The Division 2 announced a new mode called the Summit, which you can play solo or co-op, and you have to fight your way up a 100-story tall skyscraper, and each level is a new wave of people. So that sounds fun.
Now, Kyle,
yes.
But do you want to go through all of those, and then talk about them, or do we talk about them one by one?
Let me just read through all of these, then we can go back and talk about the ones we want, or the ones that I may have missed here. So
okay.
So yeah, then after that, Ghost Recon Breakpoint is also getting a new adventure. I guess like a new story content called Red Patriot. Watchdogs Legion is getting Aiden Pierce as a playable character in post-launch DLC. We got some more updates on Immortals Phoenix Rising, which launches December 3rd. We got to see some new gameplay on all of that stuff. That one looked pretty cool. They announced the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake. That's going to be coming January 21st, 2021. And last but not least, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game, the complete edition, has been announced. This was like the poster child for digital-only games that, hey, you don't actually own this, and if they shut down the servers, then you can't play it, and all of that stuff.
Yeah,
and that game has been
the best example of the negative.
Gone, yeah, for a while. So that is back. That is pretty cool. The last thing I want to mention with this is that before the Ubisoft Forward, they did release a short video kind of addressing some more of the abuse at Ubisoft, and just kind of mentioning, hey, this is what we're doing to correct things and fix things and how to move forward. Yet on the other hand, I saw Jason Schreier tweeting out that, hey, according to what we've been reporting here at Bloomberg, these claims have been gathering dust in the company's logs for years. So this is not something that they just found out about this summer. This is stuff that they knew. So,
which is sad, but I mean, at least going forward, they're trying to make things better, which is really the best thing you can do with moving forward, is just trying to make things better so it's not repeated in the past.
Yeah, at least now everything, if it got dusted before, at least now everyone's aware of it, and we've already seen changes. A lot of people have been fired from Ubisoft, so it doesn't like change has happened now, and hopefully that means that change will keep going.
Yeah, and last thing I want to say about that is, like, I don't mind that this was a separate video, because also in that video they said something along the lines of, like, hey, we're addressing this separately because the Ubisoft Forward is more about celebrating the games and stuff like that. And I get that. I completely understand. I would have at least liked for them to have mentioned it in the Ubisoft Forward. This is something they didn't do in the first one either, because they did something similar. But just at least to be like, hey, there's been some stuff happening at our company. If you want to find out more information about that, here's where you can go to find out more info.
Yeah, for sure. The excuse that they give is the bigger problem that I have with what happened. The excuse that they gave was that they just couldn't put it into the presentation because of time, which is
not true.
Not true, because this comes from the last Ubisoft Forward that we got. So you had all this time to prepare something and then put it into the video. It's not something that, like the last one where everything blew up at the last minute.
Yeah.
But I could see that maybe you didn't have time, but now you've had all this time, and it's not like by, I don't know, an hour before that you realized that there was something that you had addressed. That's a bigger problem that I had. I don't necessarily have a problem with them not including it on their presentation. For once, I do understand why the company wouldn't do that as a business move, but also the reason what I don't have a problem in is that I don't think that it being there or not being there, it doesn't change anything. Like, it being there is just a gesture, which doesn't really change anything. It would be just a gesture for making a gesture.
I think at the end of the day, most like average everyday players aren't really privy to what's going on, right? So they really don't care. But I think it would have at least been nice to just make a mention of it. Like, hey, if you want to know more, we've made a statement on that elsewhere. And move on so that they can celebrate the games.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's because Ubisoft hasn't made like enough progress for them to feel satisfied to making things better, so they didn't want to spend too much time on it. Not saying that, like, not as an excuse, but just maybe because they haven't made enough progress to make things better to feel proud of it. They don't want to focus too much on it. They want to wait till they make things actually better and then be like, hey, all the abuse and problems at Ubisoft, we've got it almost all ironed out, and here's proof of, go here to search, and here's how everything is getting better and all the changes we've implemented. Because making a bunch of changes, I assume, to policies, it takes time.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And we already saw some of the changes that they did. But yeah, them including it here or not, we already got it before. And like you said, not much has changed other than the big changes that we saw by the time of the first UB Forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, there isn't much in there to actually show in terms of changes.
What did you guys think of the Ubisoft Forward, the actual like presentation? Was there games and stuff that stood out to you? Was there things that excited you? Ignacio, let's start with you on that.
Well, I think that we could go through some of these. For example, the Division 2, I know that you played the Division 2 and you enjoyed the Division 2. Does this news do anything for you?
It's interesting. I think I would consider re-downloading it, but that's I don't know. Oh yeah, once I beat a game, it's off of my
Did you end up beating it? Didn't you have a problem with one of the bosses?
Oh, that was the DLC, the Warlords of New York. I got to the last final boss and couldn't beat that, and then I squatted up with a bunch of randos, and even with that, like we couldn't do it. So
got it.
I don't know.
So this entices you to maybe jump back into the Division 2?
Potentially, yeah, because I mean it seems like it's maybe kind of raid style content that I could play by myself. Like that's also one thing that I didn't do with that game, is I didn't really do the big raids or stuff like that, because that's co-op stuff that I normally don't like. But the fact that I can play this by myself is like, ooh, I liked that game. I might try it out. So
yeah.
So.
Ghost Recon, I don't know. I don't think anyone here plays it.
Not me. No.
No?
No.
Alan?
No.
Okay. So then Watchdogs.
I'm
Are
excited.
either of you excited for it?
I'm excited for Watchdogs Legion, but I don't know if Aiden Pierce is the big exciting news that they think it is.
Yeah. After playing Watch Dogs 1, Aiden Pierce wasn't the most interesting character. Okay. I mean, I'm excited for him to have a character arc, but that's not the reason I'm buying Watch Dogs Legion.
Yeah.
Same here. I'm excited for Watch Dogs Legions, and as someone who did enjoy Watch Dogs 1, which I know a lot of people give the first one a lot of shit, and it is in a way forgettable, I do like that they are bringing back Aiden Pierce. And that
They're still good.
Yeah. And I think it is cool that they are giving the character an opportunity to keep his story going.
Yeah.
Because in a way, it started with Aiden Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the second one moved away from him and even the tone of the first one, I do like that they are bringing Aiden Pierce back.
The artwork they had of Aiden Pierce looked really cool, though. I did like how that looked.
Yeah, the beard.
Yeah, it looked really cool. I was like, all right, I'm cool to see Aiden Pierce. I assume way later in the franchise.
Yeah. So, then Immortals Phoenix Rising. What did you guys think of it?
Pretty cool.
I have not seen gameplay for this yet, unfortunately.
Have you played Breath of the Wild?
Yes.
Okay, so you pretty much know the game. You've seen Phoenix Rising.
This is that game. This is the Breath of the Wild knockoff.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like.
Well, that's what they call it, though.
Well, it's not like even if you could go on and say, oh, this mechanic is from Breath of the Wild, or oh, they took inspirations from Breath of the Wild here. It's pretty much Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's like that
I like Breath
mixed
of the
with
Wild. I'll play it.
Assassin's Creed style stuff. But
Yeah,
it's
in a
like
way.
the open map where you can kind of go wherever you want. You're fighting monsters. You're solving puzzles. Yeah.
Yeah, but the more that you watch it, the more that you realize it is Breath of the Wild. Like,
Yeah, it
they
kind of
showed.
is.
I was watching the gameplay that Kind of Funny did for the game, and at one point they showed one of the quote unquote challenge rooms, or I don't know what they call them, but it's pretty much the what were they called in Breath
The
of the Wild?
shrines.
Yeah, the shrines. It was
Yeah.
pretty much a shrine, and at one point, the character literally used the magnet ability from Breath of the Wild
Oh man.
to solve the puzzle.
But you know what? I think at the end of the day, I'm okay with it being kind of a copy of that on its own. Like I like Zelda, right? Like those games are good games, and I don't think we have enough good Zelda likes, or at least the like 3D ones.
We really don't.
So, so if they can pull this off and make it, if they can make this a good game, then hell yeah, I am all about it.
To me,
Sorry.
to me, being a huge Breath of the Wild fan, the idea of a game being pretty much another Breath of the Wild, it does excite me. And even when I watched the leaked alpha footage for the game, which was, like I told Kyle on that episode, it was Breath of the Wild unapologetically. It did get me excited. But now watching the gameplay, I do have to say that I'm a little less excited, because it looks like if an indie studio tried to make a Breath of the Wild AAA game. It doesn't look like a AAA studio is trying to do Breath of the Wild. And it is a bit disappointing seeing it like that.
I guess.
See, after explaining Immortals Phoenix, it's kind of exciting because if you loved Breath of the Wild, it was only for the Switch. So if you couldn't afford a Switch or didn't have one, it's really cool to have a game like this for your Xbox or PlayStation. And if you don't want to replay Breath of the Wild, this is your way to scratch that Breath of the Wild itch without just straight up replaying a game you've already beaten.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what's funny is that it is also coming to the Switch.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to play Breath of the Wild on your Switch, play Immortals Phoenix Rising on your Switch.
Yeah. Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake. That was that's exciting for me because that was one of my favorite franchises growing up. However, I don't know if I'm really gonna buy that one.
I don't understand this. People love like this old Prince of Persia game. I never played this, and I don't what's so great about it, honestly.
So this is like the precursor to Assassin's Creed.
Oh,
yeah,
pretty much.
It kind of has a little bit of like 3D platforming / puzzle solving, and the combat in there is okay. But the like big thing with this game is its rewind mechanic, which at the time was pretty damn cool, where you could be hit by something or almost die, and then like hit a certain button and it would rewind time. So instead of just dying and then waiting through a load screen and all of that stuff, you could just hit this button and rewind things. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
that sounds
if
cool.
If you fail something,
jump on
just rewind and try again.
Yeah,
that sounds really awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, it is pretty much, I would call it like
good.
a linear Assassin's Creed, where Assassin's Creed is an open world game. This is more of a linear Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
exactly. Yeah, and they still have. I don't remember if this first one has it or not, but I know in some of the later Prince of Persia games they started to add in like new weapons and stealth kills and stuff like that. And then they did like a trilogy of those games, and then they did another Prince of Persia game after that that was not really related, but it kind of was. And then
several of these games.
Yeah, they've done a whole bunch of them, and I loved them. And then, they just were like, what if you can climb on everything? And then what if you can do this? And what if it's more of an open world? And at that point, they were just like, you know what? This is kind of a new thing. Let's call it Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it pretty much evolved into Assassin's Creed, and that's why you haven't seen a new Prince of Persia game. And I hope that this is more of Ubisoft trying to test the waters to see if people would like a Prince of Persia in a world where Assassin's Creed is a thing. I do have to say that I'm glad to see that they are putting work into the game, because apparently they are re-recording the scenes. They are doing mocap for it again, which doesn't. I don't get why, if they are doing it again, the game doesn't look good visually.
Yeah, so that's kind of one of the big things that people are scratching their heads about. This is a remake. Like, they are remaking the game.
Technically, I would call it a remake, yeah.
They're like changing up some things in the camera and how that worked. And they're re-recording voice lines, like you said, but then it still kind of just looks like a PS3 game. Or a PS, it looks more like a PS3 game, because I think this was originally on PlayStation 2.
Yeah,
so
they
it
made
looks
like
better,
an HD version of it.
But it's still not great, and it's just like I would have really loved to see this in like PlayStation 4 graphics,
like what they did with, I don't know, Spyro and Crash, basically.
Yeah, Resident Evil too. Like, that would have been amazing, but
it isn't
that Crash remake though. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what.
I don't think the Crash remake remade the games well enough. But
what?
that's a whole nother thing.
Well, I think that it is. Somehow this game is both a remake and a remaster. It's like they remade everything but the textures, which they just remastered.
Oh,
I don't know. I saw this on Twitter of people getting excited about it, and it honestly didn't really do anything for me. But I never played the original. I mean, I won't give it a shot, but I mean, I hope it's good.
I guess it is kind of like the same situation as the Tony Hawk games, where if you play those and you have fond memories of those, it is a good way of playing those games. But games have moved forward from that. Be it Prince of Persia evolved into Assassin's Creed, and then Tony Hawk evolved way past the Pro Skater games.
But the Tony Hawk remake game looks so good. Like, they made it look so visually impressive.
Yeah, good. Fair point. But yeah,
Prince of Persia was like, we're just gonna kind of touch this up, and here you go.
Yeah,
they are doing mocap for it, new mocap.
Yeah, and that's gonna be really good for it.
Yeah, they brought back the original actor for the prince, and they apparently are changing the female protagonist's voice actor or actor.
I can't wait to see how well this game does when it comes out.
Yeah.
Do you guys have final thoughts on the Ubisoft Forward?
Nope.
I love Castle Crashers, so my biggest takeaway was the Scott Pilgrim game coming this holiday.
Nice.
Did you play the original one?
No, I did not. Okay. But this is the one game I'm going to buy day one.
Good. Good stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad that they are bringing it back, because, like we said before, it is the biggest example of the problems of the whole digital era of video games.
Yeah,
so it is nice that people will be able to play it again.
I love the 2D beat 'em ups like Castle Crashers and stuff. So I saw Scott Pilgrim and I was like, finally, I can play it. So I'm buying that. So I have faith it'll be good. I know people love that game, so I'm not worried that it'll be bad.
That's about right. Let's move on. Let's see. Nintendo. We got some more Switch Pro rumors. I think we had mention of some last week as well, but this week, we are starting to get word that Nintendo is telling developers to ensure that their future titles are 4K ready. This is coming from Damian McFerrin at Nintendo Life, who writes, rumors of a Switch Pro refuse to go away, with Bloomberg now reporting that Nintendo has told third-party developers to ensure their future titles are 4K ready. Yet another big hint that a more powerful Switch variant is on the way. The report claims its sources are outside game developers that are familiar with Nintendo's plans, thanks VGC, and adds weight to the claim that the new Nintendo Switch will be capable of 4K visuals. However, it is speculated that this will be achieved using NVIDIA's DLSS AI upscaling techniques rather than a pure 4K output. This process, which grants high-resolution visuals with little in the way of a performance hit, is used in NVIDIA's Shield hardware, which is based on the same internal architecture as the Switch. So, what do you guys think of this? Because I think a new Switch is kind of inevitable. They need to do something to kind of keep up with the next gen. But I don't think we're going to see that till next year.
Nintendo has a history of these kinds of upgrades.
Do they though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there was the GameCube, and then there was the Wii. There wasn't really like a sizable Wii upgrade. There wasn't really like a giant.
Well,
yeah, no, but the Wii U was different. The Wii U wasn't like a better Wii.
Yeah,
it was just
new. Yeah, you have a point that they haven't done that with their home consoles. But if you look at their portable lineups, you have the Game Boy, which then had the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy Advance. You had the DS, which had the DSi. You had the 3DS, which had the new 3DS. Nintendo does do revisions with their handhelds.
Yeah. So. I only feel like there has to be a somewhat better Switch because they already made the Switch Lite. So I feel like eventually you have to get a better Switch. But I mean, what do you really do except just enhance the visuals? Like, do you really want to buy like another $300 Switch just to have 4K when Nintendo games already look incredibly good anyways?
I think that Nintendo does need a more powerful Switch right now, because now that we are moving into a newer generation, it will make the gap even larger between the Switch and the other home consoles, which would in a way harm the Switch lineup, because right now we have seen games being ported, like for example Wolfenstein and Doom, I think are in the Switch, and then The Witcher. But if you right now are getting games that are made for 4K, that makes it even harder to port games to the Switch. So I think that Nintendo does need a more powerful Switch in order to keep up, in a way.
Indeed.
Yeah, I bought a Switch at launch, so we've had the Switch launch since obviously the day it came out, and I don't play too many things on the Switch, but regardless, even though the Switch doesn't look as good as my 4K PS4 Pro on my TV, we still buy Switch games. So I mean, I know they have to keep up with the next generation, but I feel like if you're already in Nintendo's home, you're gonna buy their games anyways, regardless if they do look better or anything else. Because then I feel like if you're gonna buy stuff like Witcher or Wolfenstein, I feel like you're not gonna see those games and be like, oh man, the Switch. Your immediate thought's gonna go to PS5 and Xbox. And even if Nintendo makes 4K, I feel like you still don't look at Switch as being your definitive first option, even if it is 4K compatible.
Yeah,
I
think
that's a good point. But sorry, go.
I was just gonna say, I think even with indie developers, like as they start to move to Unreal Engine 5 and stuff like that. Like, they're going to be able to do bigger and better things with their games. They'll be working with 4K textures and stuff like that. And we know that Nintendo really knows how to develop and optimize for their own console, but not everyone else does, right? Like, the games still take up a lot of space. So I think at the end of the day, as people are doing bigger and better things in their games, it's going to be harder and harder to get those on the Switch.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they like, and we all know that things sell. If it's on the Switch, they sell. So.
Yeah, I mean, like we mentioned earlier with Phoenix, like Breath of the Wild was a launch title for the Switch and the Wii U, and I have never heard anybody say, "Man, Breath of the Wild looks bad. Oh man, I wish this game was 4K." Like that game. Well, I mean, I haven't, but that game looks amazing for being a launch title. I think it looks great.
Ignacio artistically sounded like a whale.
Hey, if you don't like how Breath of the Wild looks, you go play Phoenix Rising.
Visually, it isn't anything impressive if you actually pay attention to the game. But yeah, artistically, I think the art style and the whole overall style does help into people not noticing how not. I'm not gonna say ugly, but it isn't very pretty either.
I thought Breath of the Wild looked pretty gorgeous, but no, that's fine.
I think that has more to do with the whole style.
Yeah.
But Alan, to your point before, while I do think that some people wouldn't see a game would say like The Witcher, I have to play it on a PS4 or PS5 or Xbox console. The idea of the Switch being portable, I do think that for a lot of people is a huge deal.
Yeah.
And that's something that would push people to play games on their Switch as opposed to the, say, a PS5 or a Series X. I think that is something that it's pretty enticing for a lot of people.
Yeah, but you're not going to play the Nintendo Switch out on the go portable. Like, you don't... How do I word this? I
never plug my console.
See, I never play my Switch handheld. I only play it at home when it's docked. But like if you're playing the Switch handheld, like I feel like if you're playing it portable and on the go, your number one concern isn't 4K. Like,
right?
It isn't. It is. Yeah, it isn't 4K. But for example, I'll give you the example of The Witcher. The Witcher is playable on the Switch. It looks horrible. It looks so bad. It looks so bad that it really makes you not want to play it. And so now that we'll get the PS5 and the Series X, it would make things even worse. And not necessarily visually, games will straight up not run on the Switch.
I mean, that's true.
Well, in the interest of time, let's move on to our last big news story of the day. We got yet another update on the Apple versus Epic fight. This is coming from
not technically the Apple v Epic fight. It is more Apple v xCloud and v Stadia.
Apple versus the world.
The other fight.
Apple versus everybody. Right? Yeah. So this is coming from Cham Gartenberg at The Verge, who writes, Apple has issued new rules for its App Store in an attempt to address many of the issues that have come up over Apple's governance of its own digital storefront for iPhone devices, with updates for game streaming services, Lipsies. Leading the changes is an explicit ruling on game streaming services like Google Stadia or Microsoft's xCloud, which Apple tells CNBC are newly allowed. But the new rules show that each and every game must also be downloadable directly from the App Store, and every game update must be submitted to Apple individually before a company could stream it to users. That means that Microsoft or Google can't build a single overarching xCloud or Stadia app that contains access to all the games. Ignacio,
Yep.
thoughts on this one?
I mean, it is a win in a way, in that now services like xCloud and Stadia have a way to be on the App Store. But then again, it is a convoluted way of doing it.
Yeah.
Like, they have to submit every game separately that will be on the streaming service. Plus, they also have to have their own separate page on the App Store, each game. It is convoluted. It is putting a lot more a bigger strain on Microsoft and on Google. But I think that now they do have a way of doing it. And so if Microsoft and Google are committed to it, they can do it now.
Yeah. I think what's confusing for me is that I remember, I want to say when this first started, I guess when Microsoft spoke up and, well, no, this must have been when they announced that xCloud wouldn't be coming to iPhones. Because I remember them saying something along these lines that, like, hey, if we wanted to have xCloud on Apple devices, we would have to submit each game individually. And they were like, that's bullshit. Like, we're not going to do that. So I guess I don't understand what the change really was. If a couple weeks ago that's what they were saying, and then this is what they're saying again now.
From what I remember, the xCloud, for example, could not exist on the App Store because it would give you access to games that wouldn't go through the App Store.
Right.
And you would get access to them through the xCloud app. And because of that, the app itself couldn't be on the App Store. Gotcha. Now with the new ruling, they are giving them a way to have the xCloud app in there and also have their whole streaming service in there. But with the caveat that they do still have to submit every game individually.
It's sounding like that Microsoft and Google can't actually have like the hub app. Like,
from what I know, they can.
Because this last sentence here says that means that Microsoft or Google can't build a single overarching xCloud or Stadia app that contains access to all the games. So Stadia could put all the games that are on Stadia on the App Store, but it won't be like you go download the Stadia app on there. You just have to go download the games individually, and then I guess like sign in with your Stadia account or something. I don't know, but
yeah, I don't know. When I heard this news, I heard that they could now have their xCloud and Stadia apps in there. It's just that they also have all these extra stuff in there, because if that line is true, then yeah, there is no change as far as I know.
I don't know. I still think this is dumb. That like you have to do each game individually. Like, these games have already been rated by an independent third party. Like, why don't you just hook up with them? Like, I
don't fully understand all of the whole Apple thing. It just seems a little convoluted and just messy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same. I also don't understand it. But then again, Apple is doing what they think that it is best for them and for their bottom line. They wouldn't do anything just because it's something that they thought of and they do it. There has to be a reason as to why they're doing it like this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure on their side somewhere, it like in the paperwork somewhere, it probably makes sense somehow.
Yeah,
I think at the end of the day,
it has to make sense for them, but
it somehow has to do more so with microtransactions and making sure they get their 30% cut, because they don't do this to Netflix, right? You have to submit every TV show individually. At like, they don't do that to Hulu. So if that's the case, then yeah, it seems like it's more about in-app purchases.
Yeah, that's why I say that there has to be a reason. There has to be a reason as to why Netflix can do it, but why games are different. And also, I think that it also could have something to do with backend stuff. Like, for example, I know that apps like Remote Play or Steam Link are allowed on the App Store, but xCloud isn't. And that probably has something to do with peer-to-peer stuff. So I think that there might also have something technical behind everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
A technical reason as to why.
More things I don't understand.
Yeah, same. Big words, company things, not comprehensible.
Exactly. Well, let's see. That about wraps us up for big news stuff. So let's go on to our new and notable section. The PlayStation right now is having an essential pickup sale where 50% off of most things is happening right now through the 16th. So you guys should go check that out.
Nice.
We also know that PSVR is currently having a sale up to 60% off as of writing this. I guess we filled that out yesterday. So as of yesterday, and I guess still as of today of recording this.
It doesn't say when that PSVR sale ends. So it just says it's having a sale. It has no stated end date.
Gotcha.
It should run at least until the, well, I guess until the 15th, since
maybe
most of their things end on Tuesday.
True.
So by the time this goes public, maybe you'll have the last couple hours of that. Go get some games there.
If you listen to this and the sale's not going on, then you missed out on some sales. Keep checking it. Buy games.
Yeah. Indeed. Next up, Assassin's Creed Valhalla release date has been moved up to coincide with the release date of the new Xbox Series consoles. That game will now be out on November 10th.
And this, to me, pretty much cements that I believe PS5 will also launch on the same day. Because why would Assassin's Creed come out on two different dates?
I also thought of that, but I don't think Sony would do that. Release it on the same day as the Xbox. I get Ubisoft moving up the date because Valhalla has been, or their marketing has been with Xbox. So moving it a week to coincide with the Series launches.
It's possible.
That's kind of makes sense.
Yeah, but that would sound so sloppy. Like, imagine you call GameStop to buy that game and they go, yeah, well, it comes out November 10th for Xbox. But if you want for PS5, you have to wait until November 17th or the 3rd.
Well, I think that would still make sense because I think they would rather be out at the first one rather than the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also Sony could go before them. So the PS5 could be out there. But yeah, it wouldn't be the first time. Like in your scenario, it wouldn't be the first time since last time the Xbox One came out a week after the PS4.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so I don't think that would be a problem.
So long ago.
Yeah.
I'll see. Speaking of so long ago, Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity, a prequel to Breath of the Wild, was announced and is releasing on November 20th, 2020. This is kind of one of those Muso-style games where it's like you versus like 1,000 people and you swing and hit 50 of them and stuff like that.
It's like the Dynasty Warrior games.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is an
I think
interesting
it's the same
one.
People.
I believe it's the same people from what I understand. I think Nintendo is also working more closely with them on this one.
I think so.
Well, because of the whole prequel thing, I know that they're working more closely with them in terms of the story.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that could be interesting if you guys liked Breath of the Wild and want to see more of that story. Find out more of the Calamity War, which was kind of the whole inciting event of Breath of the Wild. It'll be an interesting thing to see a Dynasty Warriors style game where we basically know you're gonna lose at the end.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I heard Breath of the Wild doesn't actually look all that good, so you know.
This game will look better. Trust me,
so you'll play this, and the prequel will look better. And you'll be like, wow, I can't wait to play the sequel to Age of Calamity. Wow, this game looks bad.
I'm not a Musou game guy, but
me either.
It being a prequel, it is getting me more interested in the game I'm playing.
For sure. Next up, Kenna Bridge of Spirits has been delayed to Q1 2021.
Very sad.
I think, this was one of the next gen games that looked really great. It
looked amazing.
Graphics, it looked like Pixar style animation. Don't know exactly what the gameplay was like off the top of my head, but it looked really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, Q1 2021 still isn't actually all that far out. So you imagine it's going to come out around February or March of next year. So it's not going to be very far delayed, but still a delay.
Yeah. A delay nonetheless. So hopefully that helps them to squash whatever bugs they need to squash.
True.
Yeah.
And then the Crash 4 demo / Tana, is that how you pronounce it, or is it Tanya?
Okay, so this one I left out some information. So right now, if you pre-order Crash 4 on the PlayStation, you can get an exclusive demo. I believe it's 2 or 3 levels you can play of the demo.
Nice.
And the demo is available September 16th, but you can only get the demo if you pre-order it digitally. So if you get it physically, you do not get a demo at all. And then, they also revealed that Tana from the first Crash Bandicoot game is now going to be a playable character.
Man, they just keep adding playable characters.
I know. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So if you want to play a demo of that, pre-order it now, and later this week, you'll get to play it.
That's fun stuff. Let's move on to our upper runners. The big one, PS5 has a showcase Wednesday, 1 p.m. Pacific time. I'm assuming we will get launch date and prices, and
we have to.
Who knows? Yeah. Maybe another game. I think they said this thing was gonna be 40 minutes long.
Yeah, they stated that it's gonna be a 40-minute showcase to show some current games and then stuff coming in the future beyond. So you assume probably detailing the first 6 months to a year of the PS5's launch. I really hope, the one thing I want to see from this is obviously the release date and pre-orders go live like Xbox, but I really want to see what Demon Souls will start looking like gameplay wise.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
I think that what this will end up being, or what we'll see, I think that we'll have a better picture as to what the launch lineup would be and the launch window games will be. I think that we'll get now solid dates. We'll know what game is part of the launch lineup. And for example, Ratchet, I wouldn't be surprised if we got a date for it since it is launch window.
Well, and Spider-Man.
Right, yeah. Well,
that's the
I think one. Spider-Man will be at launch. I would be surprised if it isn't. But yeah, I think that here we'll get a more solid launch lineup.
Indeed.
We have to get the price too.
I could see Assassin's Creed being the launch title, kind of like how Black Flag was the launch title for the PS4. And I could realistically see Spider-Man coming out a month later in December.
Well,
that way you have Assassin's Creed at launch, and then you have Spider-Man in literally a month later.
Well, the problem there is like we talked about before, Valhalla is being so closely tied to the Xbox that I doubt Sony would rest on Valhalla being the launch title for the console.
Yeah.
If we look back to the PS4 launch lineup, they had what was it, Killzone Shadowfall for the launch. So I'm guessing Spider-Man will be probably like what Killzone Shadowfall was, and then Ratchet will be what Infamous Second Son was, which came out that February or March.
PS4 had Killzone, Black Flag for Assassin's Creed, and then it had Resogun. Yeah. So for PS5, you'd probably have Assassin's Creed again, Bug Snacks, you assume, and then Spider-Man.
Yeah, pretty much. And I think Ratchet will probably see it probably February or March, like I said, Infamous Second Son came out, I think March,
like February or March.
Yeah,
good stuff.
I'm excited.
Me too.
Speaking of some not exciting news, though, or I guess not speaking of, because we weren't speaking of not exciting news. To switch gears, GameStop is planning on closing now 450 stores, or around that number, and will continue to close more well into 2021. I think this is actually an update from a story a few months ago that they were planning on closing 300 stores this year. That number has now gone up.
Yeah, I've never even heard of this.
Yeah,
like, I didn't know they were
GameStop
closing
has
more.
not been doing good. They've been hitting it hard.
God,
where am I going to
put it on my PS5?
Stories? One of the big stories at the beginning of the year was that GameStop was going through a rough patch. Like that's what we were talking about at the beginning of the year, believe it or not.
And then the pandemic hit.
And then Corona hit.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Corona.
It's sad that they will be closing these many stores, but looking at what I found here online, apparently they have, on the US alone, 5,509 stores.
Oh, wow.
So it is a small percentage overall.
Yeah, but 450 sounds like a lot.
Supposedly.
But 5,000 sounds like a lot.
I do have to mention that supposedly they finally sold off their private jet. So whoever thought it was a good idea to keep that amidst all of their rough patches, I have some questions. But yeah, so
probably not the best. Probably not the best investment.
Yeah, who knows? Game Pass for PC is retiring its introductory price of $5 a month on September 17th, and will increase to $9.99 a month. I think they are finally getting out of early access beta. Yeah. I don't know what you call it, but yeah, they are officially actually launching. Yeah. So, which I think if you are a current subscriber, I think you have one more monthly cycle of it being $5 a month, and then after that. But if you are a new customer, it will be $9.99 a month.
Apparently, Microsoft had said before that the $5 a month was indeed for an introductory price, and that eventually it would go up to $10. So it isn't like something that came out of nowhere. It isn't like Microsoft realized that they should charge more for it. It was always going to be like that.
Yeah, indeed. And last but not least, Colin Kaepernick is back in Madden 21. This is an interesting story because Madden has had some issues.
To put it lightly.
I think the NFL has had some issues lately. But yeah, Madden is finally reinstating Colin Kaepernick as a free agent, if I'm not mistaken, in the game. So if you want to play as him, you can at least play as him in Madden.
And I am still not going to play Madden 21.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't even know Madden fan.
What any of these things. I don't know anything about your quote unquote football.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not the person to ask about sports either.
Yeah.
It's been a wild ride with Colin Kaepernick. So
yeah, It
all
is
I'll
good
say.
too that they are adding him.
Madden
Back to the
fans
game.
rejoice.
Yeah.
Celebrate and cheer. Colin Kaepernick is back.
Hmm.
Indeed.
Sweet.
But yeah, that about wraps us up for all of that stuff. So we'll do what we normally do at the end of each week. Alan, what are you excited for this next week? What games are you gonna be playing? Are you gonna finally dive back into all the Avengers movies you've missed? What's going on at your house?
Well, I'm going to continue playing Monster Hunter. I'm going to hopefully finish Samurai Jack this week. I'm probably not going to watch more Marvel's movies. I'm sorry. I know. Roast me. I apologize. But I am...
I told you we had to get a better vetting.
Hey. Maybe someday I'll catch up and watch them, and everything will be... The order will be restored.
At least he's a Digimon fan, right?
Yeah.
Well,
okay. All right. Whoa.
That's a whole other kind of word.
Don't even.
I don't know if we want to start that.
Ignacio, we could be on the same page. You just have to tell me that Digimon the movie dubbed is good, and then everything will be
You
A-okay.
just have to open up your eyes and realize how bad it is. How bad the English dub of Digimon overall is. How
great.
bad it is.
I can't even deal with these blasphemous claims that I'm hearing.
You have no idea how painful
Like a
it was
father
for me
watching their children squabble over stupid stuff.
You have no idea how painful it was watching it.
No, but
What's
I think
this here Digiman show?
No, but the most obvious one is I'm definitely super stoked for the PS5 showcase. I want to see Demon Souls. I don't even want to know when it releases, because I have an idea of when it releases. I want to know when I can bring my butt to the store and pre-order that sucker, because I want it.
I don't know if you'll be able to do that anytime soon.
Watch me.
Go to the store.
Watch me. I will
be like,
I will find a way.
I will buy a hazmat suit online. So help me God.
Hey, there is a gold-plated PS5 you can pre-order that's going to run you like $10,000 US. So if you want to secure one, there you go. I don't make that much to buy that.
Yeah, it was like a price around that, and also they had the digital version, but it was only $100 cheaper. At that point, why would you? Why wouldn't you?
I am desperate. I am not that desperate.
Ignacio,
Yo.
what about you? What are you excited for this week?
I am super excited that this week is a free week for me. My college gave us the whole week off.
Oh, nice.
Hey.
Yeah. And also because, in part, it has to do with the fact that we'll be celebrating our Independence Day, I think Friday? Yeah, Friday.
That's what's up. Good stuff.
Yeah. So they give us the whole week just for us to relax and not worry about it. But yeah, I'm also super excited for the showcase. I can't wait. I hope that Sony finally gives us all the information that we're missing.
It's here, boys. It's here.
I sure hope so. But yeah, and also this Friday, the Mario Collection will come out. I'm
oh my
so
god, I
excited
forgot.
to finally play those games. I haven't played 64 and Galaxy in so many years. And then and Sunshine, I've only played the first level. So I'm really excited to play all those games again.
I'm the biggest sinner. I have never played Mario 64.
What?
Ever. I've never played it. Sunshine was my first
even
3D
have a
Mario.
childhood?
Yeah, I do. It was called Digimon the movie, and it was glorious.
Such a bad childhood. Such a bad childhood. I'm so sorry for you.
I turned out totally normal and happy.
I don't know. I would have bet on it.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
for me this week, I am excited. Oh boy, I don't even know what to play exactly, to be honest.
You finished Avengers.
I'm done with the Avengers for the most part. I am done with Ori, and I don't really have much of anything until like end of October with Watchdogs and stuff like that. And then all the
Tony Hawk,
new stuff.
Kyle.
Yeah, so
Tony Hawk.
maybe I'll get Tony Hawk's. Maybe I'll keep playing Halo because I want to dive into Halo 2 since I beat the first one.
Do you have any plans on playing Resident Evil 3?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, there's still some backlist stuff. I could do Resident Evil 3. I would rather get that on sale, though. Or hopefully in October it comes to Game Pass as like, hey, here's some horror games you guys can play.
Well, you have Game Pass. You have a ton of games that you could play.
I might start Spiritfarer. I've heard good things about that one, so...
If you have a PlayStation, I think Resident Evil 3 is the deal of the week right now. I think you can get it like super cheap on PlayStation, but
interesting.
Yeah. It's the deal of the week, and I think it's live for like a couple of days still.
Okay, good to know because that one is on the backlog of stuff. So there you go.
Yeah,
good stuff. Alan, where can the people find you on the internet?
So the two main places I am is like I said earlier in the episode, I stream for 4 days a week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 days. And you can follow me at twitch.tv/AzurePKK, AZUREPKK. Or you can follow me on Twitter where I sometimes post or gush about JoJo sometimes, rarely, at Alan Busbee, at AlanBusbee. Because I have such a strange first and last name combination.
There you go. Ignacio, where can they find you?
Well, they can find me on Twitter at Ignacio Rojas B. That's IGNACIOROJASB. That's my name.
Good stuff. You guys want to find me? I am at YoKyleSpringer on Twitter and Instagram. If you guys want to stay up to date with our shows, we are at the Whatnauts on Twitter. Go like, share, subscribe, tell a foe, tell a friend, sell your soul, do whatever you have to do to help us spread the word. We would really appreciate that. Go
kidneys.
if that's what you gotta do, sell both of your kidneys.
You have 2 kidneys.
Who needs them, right?
You have to. You can survive with one.
Exactly.
You just sell both kidneys.
Exactly. So that's where you guys can do all that stuff. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, because we are hoping to get 100 subscribers on there. I think we're at 86, so that would help us out a ton. But that being said, we will get out of here. This has been Crossplay for this week. We will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you so much for checking out our podcast. We hope you enjoyed that one. Leave a comment down below if you will be getting one of the new Xbox consoles. Are you going to get an X or an S or none of them? I don't know. In the meantime, go subscribe to our channel, which is right up here in this corner, and go watch one of our other videos right down here in that corner. That would help us out a ton, and we would appreciate you. Until next week. Bye.